We welcome you to a rainy Beyond Bankard Field where it's time for the final match of the USL Super League full schedule. An in-form Fort Lauderdale United FC welcome a Carolina Ascent side that is winless since November 2nd. Tonight's Fort Lauderdale United FC match is presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. I'm Jessica Charman alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. And Gary, as we look at the USL Super League standings, it's clear both tonight's sides have enjoyed the inaugural season so far.
They certainly haven't. For Carolina Ascent, yes, a couple of bad results recently, but a win today will take them into second spot as they go into the fall break. And for Fort Lauderdale United, a win for them puts them only a point behind Carolina Ascent. So a massive 3 points for both sides here tonight.
Those standings are brought to you by Delta Airlines. Fort Lauderdale's rise up the table has been largely due to their positive recent form. They come into this match with 2 straight victories. Yeah, and a bunch of different scorers. Hamid with that one. Before that, it was the wonderful McCain. Henderson's going to pop up here and score one against Tampa Bay. Reese Klein getting one against Brooklyn here. And then against Spokane, Cheyenne Allen here after a good shot by Gordon. So goals coming from all over the team. No wonder they're dancing. Well, our player to watch tonight is brought to you by Baptist Health. And it goes, of course, to Addie McCain, who continues to lead the Golden Boot race. 8 goals is a fantastic haul this season so far, but a lot of it to do with Shania Gordon out wide on one side and Jasmine Hamid. They have been wonderful in their support, dangerous players. And when they get the ball to the wonderful Addie McCain, she hits the back more often than not. While Fort Lauderdale has that momentum, their visitors, the Carolina Ascent, have hit a sudden blip in results. They've lost back-to-back matches for the first time in club history. Yeah, Natasha Flynn scoring for Tampa Bay's son. Sam Meza here with a nice little run in that 1-0 loss to Dallas. So yeah, goals going in and not many rather coming the other way. Giamona here, just that first loss. That's the goal that sort of sealed it. So tough times for Megan McClelland and company in defence. Carolina Ascent was the team to chase for the majority of the full schedule, but their recent form has seen them fall down the standings, Gary. Yeah, well, look at the goals allowed there. In the first 8 matches, just 4. In the last 5 goals allowed. And the wins 4 in those first 8 and just the 1 in the last 5. So yeah, it has been a bit of a bumpy ride recently, but as you're saying, 3 points today, a good match to end off the fall season, and there'll be smiles all around Carolina Ascent. Riley Baisden for the Ascent will need to utilise her experience tonight to help generate more attack for her team. A wonderful player, 30 years of age, great experience playing at very high levels. She was first in the club on assists, she's 4th in the league overall in assists. So it just shows you the quality she has, and if she brings that quality to play today, you've got to fancy Carolina Ascent to score a few goals. Well, can Carolina Ascent restart their climb up the table with a result tonight? Or will it be Fort Lauderdale making it 3 wins on the spin to fly high into the winter break? Kickoff just around the corner. You're watching USL Super League on Peacock.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. 0 down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR. That's 833-ALL-YEAR.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
Once the game kicks off, the hype doesn't matter anymore. Your follower count means nothing. Your resume is irrelevant. What matters is the moment, the game, the crest on the front of your jersey, the people you play for. Are you going to make history? Are you going to save the day? Are you going to score a hat trick, break some ankles, or give a kid the thrill of a lifetime? This is what the movement is all about. These moments that matter. The USL Super League.
We welcome you back to a damp but excited beyond Bankard Field for Fort Lauderdale United versus Carolina Ascent FC. The player walkout is presented by Amaranth Bank. Jessica Charman, Gary Bailey here for you. And as we get a look at the Fort Lauderdale starting lineup for head coach Tyrone Mears, brought to you by LaCroix. Gary, it's a strong starting lineup.
It certainly is. Just the one change to the side that beats McClelland in their last match. Riley Basin gets to start. Jada Bedoya not available, but what a player to bring in there, Basin, and likely that she will play somewhere close in attack. And it's a very strong back four. They've got there Vaca and Gaynor as well there.
And on the flip side, for head coach Philip Poole, the Carolina starting lineup is brought to you by LaCroix. Gary, it's a lineup that is tasked with breaking the defeat streak.
Sorry, I've got Riley Basin on the wrong side there. Here she is for Carolina Ascent. She is the one change for Bedoya there. And it is a strong side, isn't it? McClelland in goals. The best in the league with 6 clean sheets. It's going to be a very, very difficult team to beat.
Well, kickoff just around the corner here is our referee for the evening is Lorenzo Hernandez. Fort Lauderdale United will be in those blue jerseys. You can see quite some rain settling on the field now. Carolina Ascent will be in their white jerseys with the sunshine style look on the bottom.
Just to mention for Fort Lauderdale, Cosette Moshe coming in goals there for McKenna Gottschalk. And Kiara Pralle, she starts. Tati Fung goes to the bench. Those are the 2 changes there for Fort Lauderdale.
Carolina Ascent will have the kickoff, and we're underway here in Fort Lauderdale in the final match of the full finale. And it's the Ascent starting fast down that left-hand side. It's headed clear by Vaca. An important early header away by Laveni Vaca. Carolina Ascent looking to break that 2-game defeat streak, the first piece of form of that style during their impressive inaugural season.
It's interesting, these 2 teams coming in almost the opposite situation. Fort Lauderdale 2 wins after 5 without a win. Carolina Ascent opposite 2 losses after 11 unbeaten. So 2 teams heading in different directions, but you get the sense the last match of the fall season, if you can end off with a win, it just sets you up for the break, gives you some confidence going into what will be a long break until early February when they play again.
It's Fort Lauderdale United on that far side, looking to find a way through, but it's cleared nicely by DeMarco, calmly done. Ball is fed up in to Gonzalez, but the ball a little wayward, and Fort Lauderdale United will settle through Gaynor. As you mentioned, Gary, Cosette Moshe getting another start in goal, her 7th game appearance, but didn't start recently. How difficult is that as a former goalkeeper to go back and forth with the starting jersey?
Not easy at all. You know you're under pressure. You know that you have to do really well, and that's what the coach wants. You know, McKenna Gottschalk is the option. She has played the last 4 games. So Cosette knows it's going to have to be a really good performance here to keep the #1 jersey.
Gaynor under a little pressure from Carolina Ascent, opts to reset with Morshea. Here's Vaca. A nice break forward now. It's a long direct ball up into the boots of Pralle. And a searching pass to Hamid. Jasmine Hamid, offside flag is raised far side. And Gary Bailey, you have put together your keys to the game, and they are brought to you by Amaranth Bank.
Well, for Fort Lauderdale, it's about a very, very powerful, effective high press. And that's all about soccer IQ. When do you press? When do you not? And then Philip Poole saying, you know what, if we can force Hamid and Gordon to come back and defend, get them away from the danger area, then we'll reduce the effectiveness of Fort Lauderdale. So that's what Carolina Ascent are trying to do.
High pressure as Kiara Pralle able to dispossess, and it's a save down to her right-hand side by Megan McClelland. Ball was still alive, and in the end, the offside flag is raised. And the secondary play wouldn't have started, but take this look from Pralle. She is confident since arriving from the collegiate game.
Yeah, good to see that confidence, as you say, to have a dip, and forces McClelland, the goalkeeper, with the most clean sheets, to keep a clean sheet so far. I know it's only into the 4th minute of the match, but goalkeeper doing what she's done so well for most of the season.
As we know, every save counts, and Meg McClelland, who had been in fine form, saw a bit of frustration in the opening after conceding goals, and I'm sure you've experienced that, Gary, as a former goalkeeper. It can be tough when you keep so many clean sheets to finally have to put the ball out the back of the net.
Yeah, it is tough, but at some stage it has to come. I mean, Carolina Ascent have been wonderful all season. They've won a lot of Coach of the Month awards, Player of the Month awards, and yeah, they've hit a little bump in the road, but it had to come at some stage. And now the big question is, how do they recover? How do they pick up the pieces, get back into winning form? Because their last 3 games, their expected goals has been less than the opposition. So clearly they're not playing that well. It's not a case of just being unlucky. They're not playing well. They're not creating the chances. Today is a great day to get that XG back up and high again.
Porter sends it forward. A long looping pass for a foot race with the Fort Lauderdale back line. It's recycled to Morshea, who just volleys it up into the sky. It's flicked on by Taylor Smith. The Carolina Ascent will recover through Vicky Bruce. Bruce caught under a little pressure, but still able to release Baisden. But Riley Baisden's pass a little wayward. As we take a look at tonight's injury report, which is presented by Baptist Health, and huge lists of players. I think for Carolina Ascent, Sorepka and Bedoya, the clear losses in terms of starting caliber players.
And I'm guessing both coaches are quite happy they're getting a break in the season, give the players a chance just to recuperate, recover from injuries, and get back to being 100% fit.
It's a pass down the channel, an early cross, not enough cut back on it. And the ball sails over the crossbar.
It's a good test for Carolina Ascent. They've had a 3-week layoff, and it's, you know, when you're not playing regular games, it's important to keep that sort of football IQ going. It's very easy to switch off in training, and it'll be interesting to see how sharp they are here today.
Studer caught in a foot race she doesn't want to be in with Jasmine Hamid. In the end, though, she does enough. 23-year-old from North Carolina able to shield it out of play nicely. Hamid. All the way in to Fort Lauderdale's back line. It's Gaynor. Taylor Smith. Far side, some good work by Shania Gordon. Gordon plays it further forwards. Trying to get round the defense of Studer. Studer goes to ground, does enough. And the cross comes in, ends up being a strike into the hands of Megan McClelland. Another save for the New Jersey native.
You can just see the threats they have all around the pitch and attack Fort Lauderdale. And Shania Gordon on that right-hand side, Jasmine Hamid left, and Addie McCain, and now you add in Kiara Pralle as well. It's exciting for Fort Lauderdale going forward. The big question, of course, is can they defensively be strong enough to keep Carolina out?
Pralle, the All-American, just finished up her collegiate career with Lipscomb Soccer. Also played for the Charlotte 49ers, so understands the Carolina context of soccer as well. Morshea. Across to Vaca. The atmosphere starting to fill out in Fort Lauderdale. Beyond Bankard Field, drawing plenty of fans to watch the USL Super League. Vaca. The ball down the channel for Hamid. Recycled through McNeil. And Fort Lauderdale United very patient in their possession right now.
Yeah, they look very comfortable on the ball. It's not an intense high press yet, but one mistake.
And Corbin charging down Morshea. You mentioned the high press, and Mia Corbin answers the call with that pressure.
She was just waiting there, and as soon as she thought there might be a bad touch, she put the pressure on, and that's exactly what she did get. She got a bad touch defensively. Have a look here. That ball just pops up, and then that pass is under hit. Corbin providing great pressure. Cosette Morchet doing really well there to clear that ball.
Might call that a bit of a hospital pass, as we see some pleasantries exchanged between the two players on the foul call for Lauderdale United. We'll have a free kick courtesy of Giovanna DeMarco's foul. So back heel into the path of Hamid. Hamid pressed by 3. It's back to McNeil and to Morchet. It was interesting when we asked the coaching staff for Fort Lauderdale about the pressure. They said that they need to make some better decisions at time of when to play long, and just, I believe you said, whack it long and relax.
Yeah, maybe I'm more old school, but this fiddling around and allowing the pressure on the keeper, I just think it's too risky. That's not too bad, because you can just boot, and that's exactly what I'm saying. If you're in doubt, boot it. Get it up the pitch, put some pressure on, you know, force the other side to have to play their way out. It's all fine and well to play lovely balls at the back, but the moment the pressure gets too much, just whack it down the pitch, because we're seeing at all levels of football, all around the world, men and women's football, just for me, way too many silly goals being given away by goalkeepers trying to mess around. And my old team, Man United, Onana, doing exactly that during the week. And it's giving me grey hairs, or more grey hairs, I should say.
You weren't quite the modern goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm all fine with them playing, but it's these unnecessary silly risks and trying to thread balls between attackers to a midfielder who's probably going to knock it back to you. So what's the benefit?
McNeil tried to send it long. Vicky Bruce reads it tidily in the air. Vicky Bruce, a veteran presence in the back line. This time, though, her pass wayward. It'll spring forward Chiara Pralle. The recovery step from Sydney Studer, perfectly done to get it back to her goalkeeper, McClelland. Porter. Back to McClelland. It's Carolina Ascent's turn for a little bit of possession.
But not so much pressure here from Fort Lauderdale. Again, they're probably picking and choosing their times as to when they want to apply that high pressure. Whenever you talk to coaches, they say you can't apply high pressure for 90 minutes. You haven't got the legs to do that, so you have to pick and choose the moments that you think will give you the best return or the most likely error from the opposition.
Sydney Studer will throw the ball back into play. Bruce who holds the historic title of first goal scorer in USL Super League history. That's something that will stay with her forever. On social media, she said it's the best memory of the full schedule so far, and who can argue with that?
And she's a good defender as well. Both her and Sydney Studer are the top 2 for clearances in the league. So they get stuck in, they get rid of dangerous balls, and Vicky Bruce also a couple of assists to her name, if not direct assists, certainly getting balls into dangerous areas. So really clever player is Vicky Bruce, playing out of the back.
McNeil to Hamid. Hamid's pass, though, is straight to Corbin. It's Mia Corbin, winds through one. Corbin shaping up for the strike. Straight into the hands of Cosette Morchet.
Comfortable for Morchet, that the ball straight at her and lacking any power to cause the keeper any problems at this stage. But again, it just shows you how a little bit of pressure, turnover ball, Hamid's pass there doesn't find the intended, and then all of a sudden there's a little half chance for Carolina Ascent. Lots of blue jerseys around, making it difficult, to be fair.
Feels like risky business playing a pass to a player that scored 3 goals this season already in Mia Corbin, though. Here's Hamid. She'll start things back now through Gaynor. Jordan. And the long ball just knocked away by Carolina Ascent, who seem to have taken on your advice of just clear it long and breathe, as we get a look at head coach Tyrone Mears, who has a lot of experience playing the game, has MLS experience, of course, with the Seattle Sounders, and now putting his mind to coaching, and been a very good transition in this coaching gig with Fort Lauderdale United.
He's done a really good job and hails from England, spent time at Burnley. Manchester City, one appearance there, West Ham, as you mentioned, Seattle Sounders. Coach of the month for September. So, and he's got a team that you look at him and you think they're so good going forward. They could potentially go on to finish top 4 and, oh, risky at the back again.
It's Corbin picking the pocket. Corbin, beautiful cutback. Mia Corbin goes for goal herself. Just doesn't dip quick enough.
Well, Tyrone Mears, coach of the month for September, will not be happy with that. And again, Wacker just caught in possession. There's been a few giveaways at the back for Fort Lauderdale United. And that one, I tell you, that wasn't far away. That was a really good strike from Mia Corbin. It just goes, it was heading towards the top corner, but it's a little bit too much height.
Mia Corbin has come close a couple of times now, off of loose ball giveaways, this time the closest of the lot. Morshea will play it across to the far side for Jordan. Here's Adrian Jordan. Adrian Jordan, inside pass. Big switch over now to this near side for Jasmine Hamid. Hamid has scored from this distance before. Hamid cutting round the defender, lays it off into the 6, and a vital slide tackle away by Sydney Studer.
Important defending there from Studer. It just shows you the danger Jasmine Hamid sort of poses on that left-hand side. Just wonder if she could have passed the ball into the box a little bit earlier. She got a tighter and tighter angle.
This corner kick is presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Yeah, in-swinging corner. Served in towards the 6. It's cleared away, but only as far as the strike coming from Chiara Pralle.
Interesting lineup there for the corner. Fort Lauderdale doing what's suddenly taken off in the English Premier League, which is you have all your players at the far post and they run in at different moments in different places. It's very hard to pick them up.
It's Chiara Pralle, unable to get the body shape right and just sends it flying over the crossbar. McClelland, who's really found a home in US soccer now after spending a lot of time abroad, building her career in Denmark. She's another one of those success stories from USL Super League, now thriving, but she may be tested here by Chiara Pralle. It's dispossessed, Baisden. Can't find a clean pass, Wacker reads it well. McNeil, back to Wacker. The ball will be switched all the way over to Celia Gaynor. Gaynor will send it long. A big read out the back by Vicky Bruce. McClelland will start again. And Gary, it's interesting, this game, both sides feel a little bit tentative in certain moments, but they've had big opportunities on both ends of the attacking thirds.
Now, you sort of understand it with Carolina Ascent because they've had such a wonderful season. They've been at the top for most of the season, bar probably the last week or two. They've had 2 losses back-to-back for the first time, so they're sort of a little bit shaken. They're trying to find their mojo. And Fort Lauderdale will know how good Carolina Ascent is, and they're probably taking it easy here, just trying to probe and see how they can get the better of Carolina Ascent, a team they've been looking up at throughout the season in terms of the table. So yeah, it's not quite the fireworks that you would hope for at the start of a match, but I think both sides have the capability to score goals and give us lots of entertainment today.
Adrian Jordan sends the ball long, looking for Shania Gordon. McClelland will clear that one away on the volley. Still kept in Fort Lauderdale boots. Gordon goes through one challenge, is blocked away by the slide tackle, but recovered again by Fort Lauderdale. Carolina Ascent will clean this opportunity away more convincingly. McNeil. physical challenge. In from behind by Carolina Ascent's Giovanna DeMarco. Just a little bit late in that challenge on Addie McCain.
I guess Addie McCain is such a threat that they're sticking as close to her as they can. That time was a touch too close, but they're not going to let her out of their sight, you would think, because she's such a dangerous striker, Addie McCain.
Sabrina McNeil will take this free kick. She swirls it in. It's headed clear by Corbin. Taylor Smith. Passes under hit. Carolina Ascent looking to pounce now through Mia Corbin. Corbin dispossessed by a good time tackle. It's Hamid. Jasmine Hamid winds up the strike, goes high and wide.
Well, if anyone's entitled to have a shot, she is. She scored a couple of cracking goals from edge of the box, especially the one against Dallas Trinity a couple of games ago.
Baisden. Her pass wayward again, just hasn't been clean enough in possession in moments for Carolina Ascent so far across the first 19 minutes. Vaca across to McNeil, and McNeil this time can't settle the touch. We get a look at Philip Poole, the head coach for Carolina Ascent. He told us that as much as he's disappointed, he also understands that it's a long season, a lot of soccer still to be played, but he just wishes his team had been able to kill games off when they had momentum.
Well, he's got lots of experience with the US Women's National Team. 5.5 years there as assistant coach. Brings all of that knowledge to play, and you can see what a great start to the season they've had. And now it's a bit of a test for him to see if he can rejuvenate his side, get them back on the winning trail.
Electric pace coming in from Shania Gordon. Wasn't able to get on the end of her heavy touch. Baisden, and a slip from Gordon means that pass doesn't connect.
That's the second time now in the last few minutes that Riley Baisden's turned and given a poor pass in. She just needs to tighten up that side of her game, Baisden, because she's such an important player.
Veni Vaca to Sabrina McNeil. McNeil tried to thread the eye of the needle, but it was easily sliced away by Josie Studer. Gordon, back to Jordan. Gordon will play again with Jordan, the two on the right-hand side looking to connect. It's a game right now being played at the tempo of Tyrone Mears, Fort Lauderdale United. McNeil can't get round the defense of Riley Baisden. Vicky Bruce will start with McClelland.
See there, McClelland under pressure just boots it up the pitch, and they still end up with the ball, Carolina Ascent. You're not going to get the ball every time. It's probably 50-50-ish, but the moment she sensed there was some sense of danger, just get it down the pitch, get it away from trouble, see if you can win the knockdown.
And a lot of the time, Gary, they're not going to score from the halfway line. They've got to build up through you.
Exactly. I think Pep Guardiola's messed it up for everyone in soccer around the world, because Man City, they're the one and only team that could play that style of football out of the back from their goalkeeper. And a lot of coaches, all the coaches have tried to copy it. And I'm not sure that you need a certain level of skill. You need to be that much better than the opposition to be able to play that style of football, I think. So, but he's changed the way that the coaches see soccer as, Pep Guardiola, well, until recently.
Hopefully there's no Man City fans listening, because we have just isolated that fan base from our broadcast. McClelland will come all the way out of her box to send this one forward on the hop. It's recovered, though, by Taylor Smith for Fort Lauderdale United. Hamid. Jasmine Hamid. Defended by Studer. Hamid with a step over to get round the defense, and then drives across in. Bruce positioned perfectly to knock it away. Smith. Trying to toe poke it into the 18. Connecting is McNeil. Offside flag stays down. McNeil crosses it towards the penalty spot. Cleared away And Gonzalez will play round through Riley Guion. First touch from Bruce, spectacular there. And DeMarco will settle. As we pass 23 minutes, Gary, who's the happier coach in this moment?
I don't know if there's a happier. I think they're both content with what's happened. They both obviously would like it to be better, but I think both sides have done reasonably well.
It was an impressive display of pace coming in on that far side. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover. McNeil. Up the line to Jasmine Hamid, a reminder that today's match is the full finale, the end of the full schedule. Play will resume all the way in February. The winter break, of course, the players will spend time training and developing, but we'll certainly miss having the action here on Peacock, Gary.
We will do, but important for one of these two sides to walk away with 3 points and spend those 7 or 8 weeks feeling positive about the game.
It's electric from Gordon. Shania Gordon into the 18, winds up the strike. Had Meg McClelland at full stretch to make sure she had it covered.
That's what you can get from Shania Gordon. Such a good player down that right hand. So look at that. Just leaves a defender for dead, bombs forward, has an effort. It's not too far off. Again, a little bit of quality, keep the ball low. Whenever you have striking practice, you always say to the strikers, keep it low, because as long as it's on target, the keeper has to do something. They might drop it, it might slip through their hands. The moment it goes over the crossbar, it's easy for the keeper. But that's Shania Gordon on the right and Jasmine Hamid on the left. It's a real handful when they get going. So big test for Carolina Ascent in defense here today.
Now they've got Kiara Pralle down the middle. This time Pralle called for a foul on Vicky Bruce. We were told in our coaches conference that Kiara Pralle was a player that they were very excited about joining the league, Gary.
Yeah, well, so far, she's been impressive. Nice attacking player, put pressure on, very confident in terms of having shots.
The pass, just not quite connecting with anybody from DeMarco. The Super League springs back into action on Saturday, February 8th. Catch Tampa Bay Sun FC taking on Fort Lauderdale United FC in the second edition of the Florida Derby, exclusively on NBC's Peacock Network. And that will, of course, be Fort Lauderdale United's next game. As you mentioned, Gary, so important to end this full schedule on a good note.
Yeah, if you can. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's 3 points. It's no different to any other 3 points. But somehow, as a player, your last appearance and last match sort of stays in your mind, and it's going to stay in their mind for, what is it, 7, 8 weeks or thereabouts. It's a long time to be remembering a bad performance, and it's a good time to remembering a good performance. So, yeah, it has a little bit of extra spice in it, this final match of the full season.
Adrienne Jordan has the ball in her hands. She'll get a second opportunity now. It's flicked forwards by Gordon. Wasn't able to find its intended target, but Carolina Ascent can't control. And it will continue in the hands of Fort Lauderdale United. Smith tried to dink the ball forward, but it's cleaned up by Carolina Ascent, who are now on transition. Being slowed down was Taylor Porter. Regrouping through the veteran Bruce. Bruce with a skip away to beat the first tackle. DeMarco sends it forward to Aguilera. Aguilera waits a cross in. It's flicked on by Corbin. Moshe will call everybody off it.
It's a good little flick on. Just doesn't quite find a teammate. Corbin is such a good player in the sense that she's quick, she's strong, she's good with the head. We've seen her back in defense a few times doing her defensive duties, so an all-round player.
Such an important duty that forwards still have to be involved on the defensive side of the ball. It's not all bright lights and name in headlights.
And the game is, you've got wing backs almost as wingers these days, strikers coming back defending it. You've got to have skills in almost every position to be the complete player these days.
McNeil able to find McCain inside. No foul called as Porter went in the challenge with McCain. Renee Guion threads it up. And then not on the same page were Mia Corbin and Jill Aguilera.
I think Aguilera might have felt she was offside and she was coming back from the offside position.
As we hit close to the half-hour mark, let's take a look at the stats right now in the game, Gary Bailey. And it's been fairly even in terms of the numericals that we're seeing.
Yeah, final third entry is almost level, shots on goal. It doesn't really matter how many shots. If they're over the crossbar, they don't really count for me. Have you tested the goalkeeper, one shot on target each? So fairly even.
Carolina Ascent pouncing on the goal kick yet again as a foul is called against Carolina Ascent, much to the surprise there of Riley Baisden. But it has become a common path in the first half hour of this game that Fort Lauderdale United are turning the ball over in dangerous areas in their defensive third. They do it again here with Jill Aguilera. Aguilera early cross into Corbin. Corbin's touch too heavy. Going to ground is Leveni Vaca to send it out for a corner. And this corner kick is presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing.
Yeah, frustrating for Mia Corbin because that ball was in a good position inside the box, a chance for her to control it, maybe turn and shoot or lay it up for somebody else, but her first touch not the best. Perhaps a tad lucky to get a corner out of it.
Service will come in from Catherine Gonzalez. Gonzalez drives it in under the bar and a touch away off of the hands of Cosette Morchet.
It's a good corner, isn't it? It's driven. It doesn't give you much time to react. Morchet just getting a hand to it, and that was enough to deflect it away from any of the attackers. But those sort of corners with that quality and that pace, oh, it's a really testing corner. Fantastic.
Set piece service, such an important element of the game. It was Vicky Bruce trying to get a touch at the back post, but Morchet does enough in goal. Gonzalez was looking for Baisden, but overhits the pass.
It's been a frustrating return to action for Riley Baisden. The passes are not reaching her. Her passes are not finding teammates. Perhaps she just needs to settle into the groove, but I'm sure that she's frustrated. Such a good player. Hasn't been able to stamp her authority on the match as yet.
And it's interesting you mentioned that because for Carolina Ascent, it's been almost 3 weeks since their last game as a near miscue out the back from Studer is handled by McClelland. But when you have these long gaps in schedule, as much as Philip Poole said, it's given us time to work on the training ground, it's hard to replicate real game minutes.
Yeah, it is. And I think most coaches love the one game a week routine. It's just enough to keep you mentally tuned in. If you play twice a week, your body gets a little bit tired perhaps. And if you play once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, your mind starts to drift a little bit. So, yeah, 3 weeks without a game is a little bit challenging, which is why second half things might get better for Carolina Ascent as they're slowly getting into the groove here.
Just see Philip Poole there in his technical area with some quite vibrant hand gestures. I think he's a little frustrated with the way that his side is playing in possession. He won't be happy with that play as Hamid, high pressure, but unable to earn the throw-in for Fort Lauderdale. And in fact, the AR has turned it over. It's taken quick by McNeil. Takes a deflection, and this time Carolina Ascent will have the throw-in they thought they deserved.
Yeah, it's amazing how coaches on both benches become assistant referees when the ball goes out. It's the energy, it's the passion. That's what you love to see from coaches. They're behind their team. Obviously, there's a fine line, but most coaches stay with on the right side of that line. Don't become abusive to the ref, but certainly you're entitled to appeal for throw-ins. That's exactly what Philip Poole was doing.
Vaca, sandwiched between two and draws the foul. Leveni Vaca, such an interesting story. Was drafted by Bay FC and became Tonga's first ever female professional soccer player. So representing Tonga very well. Here is Vaca. The 360 spin around the defender and gets it to McNeil. McNeil, though, wayward, and Select is the official match ball supplier of USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Studer. Wayward pass. Driving forward will be Shania Gordon. An early pass forward into Pralle. Studer able to recover after an error, and Vicky Bruce says, let's just get rid of it, out for a deep throw.
Yeah, Bruce just saying, I need to get all the defenders back. Let's get reorganized. And again, good counter-attack there from Fort Lauderdale, and we're just getting to see a lot of Chiara Pralle. She's been involved in a lot of the attacks so far in this first half.
Jordan will take the throw. Jordan to Gordon. And Gordon with a cross in. It's cut back towards the penalty spot. No one held their run. Second opportunity for McNeil. It's back to Smith. Gaynor. And a big slide tackle comes in from Renee Guion. Searching ball, headed down. McClelland quick off a line. It's interesting watching Fort Lauderdale try different things with the attack now. You've talked a lot about the wing play, but there's been some more direct balls coming in recently.
I think it's good to mix it up. It's test the defenders. If you do one thing over and over, they know what to expect. But I do think ultimately, Hamid down the left and Gordon down the right, two fabulous players, and you want to get the majority of balls to them and give them license to have a go. Run at your defenders. You know, if you get stopped, so be it.
Here comes Gonzalez. Gonzalez couldn't connect. And Cosette Morche will just let the ball trickle into her hand. She bowls it out right away. And it's Fort Lauderdale United playing with some fire yet again in their back line. This time they break away. Jordan, forward to Gordon. Shania Gordon lays the ball forward to Pralle. In a foot race, Pralle can't get there. Vicky Bruce positions herself well.
How quick were Fort Lauderdale there on the counter-attack. They played through the press, and then suddenly there's acceleration. Gordon knocking the ball straight forward, putting it into a dangerous area for Pralle. They really have been good at that, Fort Lauderdale, turning defense into very quick attack.
As we get a look at Pralle, Lipscomb College Prep. She has added a different dimension to this forward line. Here she is again. Pralle driving through for fun. Pralle lays it forward. Hamid will spin, and Hamid won't quite connect cleanly. It'll be a simple save in the end for Meg McClelland.
Yeah, frustrating for Hamid. She made a run just before that. That's when she wanted the ball from Pralle. Didn't get it, had to come back, and then when she did get the pass, she had her back to play. Made it a bit more difficult. But that'll be the sort of settling in process for Pralle as she gets to understand the talent she has around her and how good they are. And sometimes you can knock much earlier balls to the likes of Hamid and Gordon, and they'll know exactly how to deal with it.
You have to wonder just how much time she's had to get to know her teammates as well. Can be difficult coming into a team when it's already so established, this midway point of the season. Josie Studer unable to keep that one in bounds, as Bruce can't toe poke it away from Pralle. Pralle dispossessed by the shoulder of DeMarco.
Just wonder if Pralle's doing a little bit too much, trying to impress. She's on the ball a lot and getting dispossessed, and maybe she, you know, if she plays in those around her, goes for the 1-2s, that sort of thing, she might get a bit more joy.
Vaca looking to take her space. McNeil picks her head up, sends forward an early ball. Bruce. I'm sure she'll say she meant that. As Hamid isn't able to get the knock off the defender, it will stay with Studer. Jasmine Hamid, who has scored 3 goals this season, including the spectacular goal we saw in the Open, but it's Chiara Pralle breaking forward now. Pralle drives in across, nobody makes the run. McClelland will go to ground.
Now, McCain had her arms up in the middle there. She was saying, I'm the only one in the box. I'm on the edge of the box. You need to pull it back. And maybe that's just where Chiara Pralle needs to improve her game a little bit. And she's young, only 22. But in that situation where she knocked the ball, there was no Fort Lauderdale player anywhere near. She needed to pull it back to the edge of the box and needed to lift her head and see where her teammates were.
And how much of that, Gary, is because she plays as that number 9 role? If she drifts wide, she has to find people to replace her in the middle.
Well, there was on the edge of the box with McCain. It's just she didn't look, lift her head and see. Now, not always easy. You're running for the ball, and sometimes your eyes are focused on the ball. You haven't got time to see where your teammates are, but there was no one where she hit the ball, so all the hard work she put in, unfortunately, went to waste.
Fans, Fort Lauderdale United FC will be back in action at home on February 22nd versus Lexington SC at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at ftlutd.com. Baisden. Back to Studer. Some good defensive duties by Jasmine Hamid. Back on the other side of the ball now. Corbin can't chest it down. Hamid gets there instead to McNeil. We've said a lot about Jasmine Hamid. Has had a couple of shots, but as you mentioned earlier, Gary, defensively, she's worked really hard to recover balls in the midfield.
They do a lot of work coming back, and that was the main plan of Philip Poole and Carolina Ascent to peg back Gordon and Hamid, have them in their defensive half doing their defensive duties, which they do so well. But from Fort Lauderdale's point of view, of course, you want to get them in attack.
Porter.
But the one thing that's changed here for me with Chiara Pralle is you've got her as the number 9. McCain has been playing that role, and with Addie McCain dropping deeper, she's become perhaps less effective. I wonder if a switch isn't worthwhile, bringing Pralle back a little bit and keeping McCain up there. You've got the Golden Boot leader, and she's been pulled out of that sort of front line into a more of a 10 role in the middle of the park. You can see her there on the halfway line. To me, that's not her most effective position.
And I think the stats won't lie. She's barely touched the ball in the first 41 minutes of action. And you want your top goal scorer, 8 goals in 13 matches, to be getting chances in front of frame. And Addie McCain has not been in that position so far this evening. Nice move on the far side, and a foul is drawn. It was Shania Gordon going to ground. Jill Aguilera, the guilty party.
We haven't spoken her name much, have we, for someone who's got great record. She's 4th in the entire league in assists and 6th in the entire league for chances created, Jill Aguilera. I think you've only mentioned her name maybe once or twice this entire half, so very quiet first half for Aguilera.
Instead, it will set up a free kick for Fort Lauderdale United. It's sent in, and the header comes in, and it's just wide off the mark from Fort Lauderdale United.
Now, big ball into the box. Addie McCain getting the header on that. Sometimes these balls work. Just float it in, see what happens. And you actually hope more for a knockdown there. Very difficult to score directly from the header. More likely, if it just gets knocked down, that someone can then jump on it.
5 shots so far for Fort Lauderdale United, including that one. Just 2 of those have come on target. On the flip side for Carolina Ascent, it's 3 shots, 1 on target. So yet again, Philip Poole's side right now being outshot by opponents. Mia Corbin distributes over to Aguilera. Aguilera trying to time in the challenge ahead of Jordan. Jordan wins that duel.
Just a sense of how both these teams have struggled to really hit target. Expected goals at this stage, 0.19 for the home side, Fort Lauderdale, 0.12 for Carolina Ascent. That effectively tells you they haven't tested either goalkeeper very much. You know, obviously one expected goal, and you should have one goal on the scoreboard. So 0-0, a pretty fair reflection of the lack of opportunities for both sides.
Josie Studer with a wayward pass that was picked up by Pralle. Good recovery in the end by Gonzalez to limit any attack from Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale are able to win it back though. Gonzalez. All the way back to Vicky Bruce as we tick under a minute of regulation now. McCain puts it forward. Pralle a mile offside there.
A little bit offside, yeah. Again, the different role there for Addie McCain, becoming the supplier as opposed to the finisher.
Carolina Ascent with a free kick from the offside ball. Referee Lorenzo Hernandez making sure that Vicky Bruce takes it in the right position. McClelland to Bruce. Bruce under some high pressure. Pralle thought she'd earned a throw-in, but did not there. So time for one last attack. Strong play by Varka. And a free kick is awarded against Varka, who kicked the ball away.
That can often get you a yellow card. Varka maybe just going to get a warning here.
Giovanna DeMarco definitely letting Hernandez know what she thought about the clearance away by Laveni Varka.
Well, it's the consistency that I think players are looking for. A lot of cases, you kick a ball away, you automatically get a yellow card. I think Lorenzo Hernandez just letting Varka off there, but if he lets Varka off, then he must let off the next person who does it. So let's see if he keeps that same consistency.
Does look like Lorenzo Hernandez has deemed enough time for this set piece to be served in. It's Renee Guillon. Guillon serves it in and be easily handled in goal by Morche. The halftime whistle will blow, and it's going to go into the break with the teams deadlocked in a 0-0 draw. Fort Lauderdale United and Carolina Ascent unable to be separated. Gary Bailey, your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, it's been a tight first half. There isn't much between the two teams. I think from here it's up to the coaches, Tyrone Mears and Philip Poole, to see how they can rejuvenate their side, motivate them, and I think changes in the second half could be ultimately important, including getting Addie McCain right up front once again.
We'll be back with halftime presented by iHeartRadio after this quick break. It wasn't exactly a showstopper in the full finale first half between Carolina Ascent and Fort Lauderdale United. It's 0-0 here in Fort Lauderdale.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked bebidas.
Once the game kicks off, the hype doesn't matter anymore. Your follower count means nothing. Your resume is irrelevant. What matters is the moment, the game, the crest on the front of your jersey, the people you play for. Are you going to make history? Are you going to save the day? Are you going to score a hat trick, break some ankles, or give a kid the thrill of a lifetime? This is what the movement is all about. These moments that matter. The USL Super League.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
With over 2 decades of experience in the payment industry, Beyond Bankcard is more than just a payment processor. We are a partner dedicated to your success. Our mission is simple: to provide innovative, flexible payment processing solutions tailored to meet your needs.
We partner up with various companies, restaurants, retail, smoke shops, convenience store, you name it, we have the POS system for it.
Whether it's tools we provide or the relationships we nurture, Beyond Bankcard is here to power your payment solutions.
What does it mean to feel welcome? To not only be cared for, but to be cared about, to trust. At Baptist Health, this is the warmer side of care. So welcome to being treated with a human touch, where your best interest is our best interest. Here, we advance innovation and treatments through research while educating the next generation of experts close to home. Welcome to the warmer side of care. Welcome to Baptist Health.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR. That's 833-ALL-YEAR.
Welcome back to USL Super League action from beyond Bankcard Field. Halftime score, it's Fort Lauderdale United 0, Carolina Ascent 0. Jessica Charman alongside Gary Bailey. It's the full finale, all 8 teams playing on Saturday, and it's Lexington versus DC Power that got us started with the matinee.
Yeah, it had been a very good start for DC Power, and then just before halftime, Hannah Richardson pops up here, sticks it on the near side. Get the sense the goalkeeper tried to guess, and she went to her left. The ball goes to her right instead, and they're 1-0 up at home, Lexington. And then second half, it was all the team in green. They were absolutely superb. Grace Wisniewski came on as a sub. This ball gets whacked across. First touch, second touch, bang in the back of the net. What a good finish. And they were heading towards their first home win of the season. And they sort of clinched it when they got the third goal. Hannah Richardson again. Shane Moyer here gets the ball, knocks it inside. Richardson with the most delicate of little touches there into the corner. Not only was it their first home win, it was their first clean sheet of the season.
Lexington SC finishing in style. The headline act of the full finale was arguably Dallas Trinity FC taking on Brooklyn FC, a battle of #1 versus #2. It was this corner kick from Sam Kroger arriving at the head of birthday girl Isabel Cox that means that Brooklyn FC cement their #1 seed in the table going into the winter break. You see what it means to Brooklyn FC defeating Dallas Trinity FC, who were unbeaten coming into this game at the Cotton Bowl. Let's have a look at out-of-town scores, and tonight's scoreboard is presented by Delta Airlines. We've shown you Lexington versus DC Power and Dallas Trinity FC versus Brooklyn FC. But Gary, right now, that Tampa Bay Sun FC trailing 2-1 to Spokane Zephyr.
And Spokane need the results. They're sitting right at the bottom of that table after that win by Lexington, so they could shoot up the table if they can hold on to that 2-1 lead. What a good result for them away at Tampa Bay Sun.
And now we'll take a look at the news and notes. As we've mentioned, spring schedule kickoff, February 8th, the day to be looking at, and it's a Florida derby between Tampa Bay Sun and host Fort Lauderdale United upcoming for that opener. Golden Boot leader Addie McCain, but we've not seen enough of her so far this evening.
No, she's sitting way too deep for me. She needs to be pushed forward, and I'm guessing that is what Tyrone Mears will do for the second half. We'll wait and see. And then Brooklyn continue winning. What a good run they've had in recent weeks.
6 games consecutive with victories for Brooklyn FC, sitting pretty at the top of the table. Well, it's all fun and games in Fort Lauderdale in terms of the entertainment. on the field, but we're expecting more in the second half. The iHeartRadio halftime show. More to come next on Peacock.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Parker Mustang High School Mustang Band. Don't forget to participate in tonight's Fort Lauderdale United Trivia.
Welcome back to the full finale at Beyond Bankard Stadium. Tonight's halftime is presented by iHeartRadio. It's 0-0 between Fort Lauderdale United FC and Carolina FC. Let's have a look at the first half highlights. It was Carolina Ascent with a bit of a cheap giveaway that led to the first opportunity for Pralle, Gary.
Yeah, decent effort. Forces the goalkeeper to have to make a save. McClelland throwing herself to her right-hand side there to tip it around the post. And we saw a lot of energy from Pralle first half, although we didn't see the final product. Now, just taking chances there, Buck, and she wasn't the only one in defense for Fort Lauderdale. And you can see Mia Corbin dispossesses her, and that is not far away. That had a bit more dip. That would have just dropped right into that top corner. Very close for Mia Corbin.
Well, tonight's highlights are brought to you by Blue Water Books and Charts. Jordan connecting with Gordon. That has been quite the combination on the right-hand flank.
And quite the mouthful as well. Gordon just fantastic. Drops his shoulder, runs away. She too, just like Mia Corbin, was not far away. Big threat from the right wing is Shania Gordon.
We've seen how it looks. Now let's look at the statistics, and tonight's halftime stats are presented by Beyond Bankard. As we know, no goals apiece, but it's Fort Lauderdale United out shooting Carolina Ascent 6-3.
6-3, 2-1 shots on target, double the expected goals, 0.25 for Fort Lauderdale, just 0.12 for Carolina Ascent. Not enough from Carolina, given how good they've been all season. They have struggled, as we said earlier. Their XG has been less, the expected goals has been less last 3 matches, and it continues. So He's got to turn it around, Philip Paul. He's got to find a way of getting something more for his team going forward.
Well, we have no doubt that the fans will be asking for more. There's still 45 minutes left to play from the finale. Fort Lauderdale United FC 0, Carolina Ascent 0. Second half is just around the corner.
Spectators are strictly prohibited from entering the field at any time during tonight's match. Throwing items onto the field, engaging in inappropriate behavior, or using vulgar language towards other fans, coaches, referees, or players is also prohibited. Any violations of these policies will result in immediate ejection and possible arrest. If you require assistance or witness a violation of these policies, please contact the nearest Fort Lauderdale United or Beyond Vanguard Field representative. Thank you for your cooperation. Surf Pro, the official restoration company of Fort Lauderdale United FC. Surf Pro, the #1 choice in restoration, is here to help with all your residential or commercial emergency needs. Surf Pro can handle any water, flood, or fire cleanup, mold remediation, and reconstruction services. With 24-hour emergency response, their team of professionals are ready to restore your property quickly, efficiently, and with the highest level of expertise.
We welcome you back to Beyond Bankard Field in Fort Lauderdale, as Fort Lauderdale United are currently in a deadlock 0-0 draw with Carolina Ascent. Jessica Charman alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. And Gary, we've still got 45 minutes left of action. What has to change for both these sides to be a little bit more dynamic in front of goal in the second half?
I think that's the right word, dynamic. From Carolina Ascent, we haven't seen anything of Jill Aguilera. She's such a good player. Riley Bason's battled to get into the match, so too Catherine Gonzalez. Those three players have been non-existent. It's just been Mia Corbin, so they need to get more involved. From Fort Lauderdale United's point of view, I would think Addie McCain needs to be pushed up a little bit higher. She's much more dangerous in and around the edges of the box. And one name I don't think you mentioned the entire first half, Felicia Knox. She is playing, isn't she? Because I haven't mentioned her name. She's been in midfield there and hardly impacted the game.
We are back underway. Fort Lauderdale United in the blue jerseys, Carolina Ascent in the white with sunshine trim. See how this second half can get underway. It's Shania Gordon. Gordon cuts it back. On the edge of the box was Pralle. Pralle couldn't get it into Knox. As you mentioned, haven't said her name, but there she was in and around the box, but just couldn't get the contact on the delivery.
Yeah, same as Aguilera there. Neither Aguilera nor Knox have really got into the right positions, got a touch, impacted the game in any way, and they're both such crucial players. Knox in particular is one of the top creators in the league in terms of chances, so we need to see her much more on the front foot.
It does look like Addie McCain is playing far higher up the pitch here as the goalkeeper McClelland sliced her clearance a little bit, but it wasn't able to be controlled down by Jasmine Hamid.
In fact, to give you that stat, Felicia Knox, joint 6th most chances created in the entire league with 17. Team of the month for November. And we haven't mentioned her name barely, so she needs to definitely get more involved in this match.
Here she is on the ball, Felicia Knox. The searching pass towards Pralle wasn't able to find its intended player. Instead, it's into the back line for Gaynor. Celia Gaynor, former Michigan State University player, sends the ball forwards. It's a foot race chase for Shania Gordon, but Renee Guillon will be well aware of her surroundings to shield this one out for the deep defensive throw. Looked like a bit of a push in the back on Aguilera, but referee turns a blind eye. Instead, Fort Lauderdale United will take the throw. It's Adrienne Jordan. Aguilera just slices the ball clear. It's cushioned down nicely by Smith and into Pralle. Pralle lays it off into the path of Gordon, whose strike is blocked away. It's Guillon with the slide tackle, joined with Sydney Studer as well to combine for the clearance.
That's a good tackle from Renee Guillon. Just the vital moment as well. Gordon was about to pull the trigger, in fact had done, and the shot was blocked. And again, that's the danger that Gordon brings down that right-hand side.
And it sets up a corner that is presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. See an in-swinger coming. It's put towards the penalty spot. A bit of a scramble as it does fall to McCain, who shovels it over the crossbar.
If there's one player you want that ball to fall to, it is McCain. He's just mumbling to herself there. Just couldn't quite get over the ball. Decent corner right into the danger area then. As it comes to her, she just couldn't step back and get enough of a swing at the ball.
You just see the reaction in McCain there, wearing the captain's armband, disappointed that she's not yet added goal number 9. Will she do so here? Addie McCain, selfless ball forward into Pralle. This time it's Sydney Studer going to ground, and another corner kick. It will be presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing.
A good start to the second half by the home side, very much driven by McCain pushing forward and getting involved around the edge of the box here. Let's see what they can do from this set piece.
I have to give credit as well to head coach Tyrone Mears for the adjustments, as you mentioned, Gary, that have been made in the way that his side are setting up. This service is driven in, it's headed clear out the back by Josie Studer. Jordan. Back to Hamid. And now it's Gordon. Gordon on the opposite side deflects a ball off of the defender and out for an All Year Cooling and Plumbing corner kick.
Was that 3 corners in 3 minutes?
I don't
Good
even know
pressure.
it's been 3 minutes, Gary.
Good pressure. They were talking beforehand, Tyrone Mears and his coaching staff, about how important it is to sell their brand on their home pitch, to build up the following here in Fort Lauderdale, and certainly this sort of positive start to the second half helps enormously.
Taylor Smith tasked with the end swinging corner. Smith spins it in under the bar of McClelland, who punches it away. And the defending to get it out the box will be combined. Only as far as Gordon. Jordan. Into Vaca. And back now to Jordan again. Felicia Knox able to keep it into play, plays it down the channel for Pralle. Pralle, an early cross, McClelland with an important interception right at the boots of Jasmine Hamid.
Timed that perfectly, the goalkeeper. When that came in, and that ball came into the box, there's a couple of blue jerseys hanging around. She had to get it spot on, the goalkeeper, and decision, and again, I guess communication, because the defender jumped out the way. All perfect there from the number 1 for Carolina Ascent.
McClelland, who's really made her name for herself, leads the entire USL Super League in clean sheets. She's played every minute of the season for her Carolina Ascent side. Long threaded ball forward, over hit for Jasmine Hamid. And after a bright 6 minutes of play, Fort Lauderdale United want to make sure that they capitalize on the momentum to make a change on the score sheet, Gary.
Well, they'd love to do that. They're certainly trying hard enough, but difficult to beat McClelland at the moment.
Big challenge coming in from Celia Gaynor this time, though. The referee Hernandez blows the whistle against Gaynor. Carolina Ascent will have a free kick. Sydney Studer will play it short to Taylor Porter. Porter. And a complete miscue from Carolina Ascent as it's turned straight back to Fort Lauderdale United. Disappointing pass from Jill Aguilera.
That's been one of their problems, Carolina Ascent. They just haven't got good passes into the box. In fact, final touches in the opposition box, 12 to Fort Lauderdale, just 3 to Carolina Ascent. And that's what you really wanted. You want to get in the boxes. Once you're touching the ball in the box, then good things can happen. So a lot of work for Liverpool to do. It's we said coming in, there's been 3 matches in which they've had a lower expected goals in the opposition. It's happening again here. You don't want 4 matches in a row where you've effectively been outplayed to some extent. So what can Carolina Ascent do in the second half is the big question for me.
Fighting for possession was Mia Corbin. It's Josie Studer attacking down the right-hand flank, laying it forward to Riley Bayston. Bayston doesn't have the legs to get there ahead of the defender. And Studer will just give possession back to Fort Lauderdale United. It's ping-pong ball as Ascent are able to recover. Renee Guillon will try and find a better pass at the second chance. This time, though, not enough bend on it. Cosette Moshe will have an easy control. In the aftermath of both hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources that they need to recover. An opportunity for Carolina Ascent as the strike comes in from Taylor Porter. Was blocked away in the end by Fort Lauderdale. And the counter-attack is on. Shania Gordon breaking away, green grass ahead of her. Shania Gordon cuts it to the back post. It'll be controlled and oh my goodness, Meg McClelland! This time it's into the back of the net. It's Chiara Pralle with an unsavable finish off of the rebound, but an insane phase of play in the USL Super League Fall finale.
Wow, this was just a crazy moment. Lovely little turn here and gets things going down the slide. Sorry, this is earlier. This is the chance that Carolina Ascent had from a pass there, lost possession, and they had to do some real defending of their own fault. But look at the counter-attack. One ball over the top. Who else but Shania Gordon with her wonderful pace just drives into the box here. Absolutely stunning. Brilliant. Gets the ball across. It's mishit. You're thinking that's a goal. Header off the line. How good is that from Vicky Bruce? The header off the line. You think it's an absolute certain goal. Here it comes. Bang. Absolutely brilliant. And then what happens? It gets whacked straight back into the corner. Vicky Bruce, unlucky there. Nothing you could do about that second chance. And wow, maybe this game's coming to life at last.
Got to give Vicky Bruce more credit because I thought it was McClelland that got a hand up, but it was Vicky Bruce's forehead with the remarkable save off of the line. But Chiara Pralle with her first ever Super League goal. A sweet strike from the All-American.
They're a little bit lucky though, Fort Lauderdale, literally 30 seconds before giving possession away on the edge of their box. The high press working from Carolina Ascent, and it could very easily have been one way it could have been rather one up for Carolina Ascent, not the other way around. So they got away with that one, Fort Lauderdale.
And the Fort Lauderdale United FC goal scored by Chiara Pralle in the 54th minute is brought to you by Baptist Health. Fort Lauderdale United, as we mentioned, wanted to capitalize on the momentum that they had, and they have now made that dent in the score sheet.
And I think deservedly so. I think they've been the better side, not by a lot, but they've been the more adventurous. They've created a few chances. Really, the only threat from Carolina coming from Mia Corbin, and I think they deserve to be ahead. And that really was a great run. Again, if you get Shania Gordon on the ball one side or Jasmine Hamid on the other, you're going to give teams a lot of problems.
Carolina Ascent, though, looking to respond positively. Basin with the strike into the side netting.
Yeah, Corbin was available in the box here for Basin. That's a tough angle under a lot of pressure. Could she have squared the ball? Just think it's not working for Carolina Ascent. And poor Philip Poole, you know, after all the wonderful start, 11 games unbeaten, all the awards, all of a sudden they've just lost it, and they're battling to get back whatever made them good. Obviously, the coach has got to figure it out, but it must be frustrating for him.
And the pressure won't stop with Shania Gordon running at the back line. Gordon through one defender, trying to find a way around another two. It's Vicky Bruce again with a clearance.
But look at Shania Gordon, the pressure she puts. Eventually, Vicky Bruce happy just to knock it out. She's lost possession, but she doesn't give up. She works so hard. Great example to young players there, that even if you lose possession, you immediately then have to start defending and putting pressure on the opposition.
Shania Gordon, back to Jordan. Better connectivity from Fort Lauderdale now, as Knox couldn't wind through too many tackles. Instead, Carolina Ascent looking to make something happen. A bit of a jersey pull coming from Kiara Pralle will be punished with the referee's whistle. So interesting to think about the dynamic of how will Carolina Ascent respond to the adversity. They've lost 2 games in a row for the first time in club history after that wonderful start. And now you find yourselves trailing. It's a difficult position, Gary, to find yourselves in, but the encouraging sign perhaps is looking at the clock, how long there is still for the Ascent to get back into the game.
Oh, absolutely. There's plenty of time for them to not just get back in it, but win it. I think they won the previous encounter 2-1, so there's time to try and do the same again.
Gordon hangs that cross up a little bit too early, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
One thing about Carolina Ascent, a lot of their success has come in not conceding. They've only scored 14 goals. It's the 3rd lowest in the entire league. So once your defense concedes, they don't seem to be that sharp in attack, and maybe that's why they're making a change now.
It's Audrey Harding coming into play, returning from an injury that's seen her feature in just 5 games so far in USL Super League, a player that brings all sorts of experience at the professional level. She'll replace Renee Guillon.
Audrey Harding, position number 21, Renee Guillon.
And that substitution was brought to you by Omega XL Sport.
In the 59th minute.
I haven't seen much of Audrey Harding. Last appearance was back in September, so she'll be looking to make an immediate impact.
And here she is, Audrey Harding, unable to find enough bend on the ball to Jill Aguilera, but easily picked up by Moshe. Long ball forwards. Be controlled at the boots of McClelland. She'll find Vicky Bruce. And Porter.
I was just talking about the lack of goals for Carolina Ascent. Only the sort of 3rd lowest goals scored. Best defense, but struggling to score an attack. Only 1 goal in the last 3.5 games. Just shows you that that's where their problem lies. If you can't score, then obviously you're going to struggle to win games.
Giveaway by Studer. Will fall to McCain. A reverse ball from McCain to Pralle. Vicky Bruce toe pokes it away, but it goes straight to Hamid. McCain. Taylor Smith. Gordon to Jordan. And back to Smith. It's like a game of keep away right now for this Fort Lauderdale United side. There's a dink ball forwards. We'll find a streaming forward, Jordan. Jordan, early cross towards the penalty spot. It's pushed down and on the volley with Shania Gordon forces the save out of Meg McClelland.
Lovely bit of play down that right-hand side. Good ball coming in here, and Jordan whips it across there, puts some pace on it. Lovely setup, to be fair, from the goal scorer, Chiara Pralle, who really is having an impact in the second half.
It's interesting to see how Pralle's doing with some additional support, with Addie McCain playing a little bit higher as a free kick is called against Gonzalez. We'll see another substitution, and that substitution is brought to you by Omega XL Sport. It's Sarah Tricoli coming in to the game now. Tricoli will replace Giovanni DeMarco.
That's another player we haven't mentioned much. DeMarco really has struggled to make her impression on this game.
Interestingly, Sarah Tricoli hasn't featured all too much so far in Carolina Ascent colours. It's just her 5th game played. She started 2 of those matches.
She's got some Champions League experience when she was playing in Finland with Ireland back in 21-22. So I wonder if she can bring that experience to bear here in this match.
Referee calls back the free kick. Like Addie McCain was getting a bit of a jersey tug at the hands of Studer. Lauderdale United in no real hurry to take this set piece right now. Ball will be launched in. A couple of hops inside the box. Gordon puts it back into the danger zone, and no nonsense swipe away. Will be recycled now to Smith. To Gordon. Gordon trying to get round the first defender. Gordon drops the shoulder. It's slide tackled away by Sydney Studer. Studer versus Shania Gordon has been quite the battle so far.
It has. Shania Gordon just creating havoc at times down that right-hand side. You do sense that Fort Lauderdale, with the attacking quality they have, if they keep a tight defense, they've got every chance of going on to get more glory this season.
Sabrina McNeil will take the all-year cooling and plumbing corner, and it's into a dangerous area. A flying run at it. Came into the box, but unable to connect on that delivery was Gaynor.
She wasn't too far away. Again, a fantastic corner, whipped in with such pace. And she threw her body at that, wasn't too far away from making a connection.
Celia Gaynor searching for her first USL Super League goal. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with host Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the SiriusXM app. Hamid. Hamid winds up the strike, and it's into the side netting from Jasmine Hamid.
I think some of the crowd thought that went in. That just shows you the pressure. And I love to see a team, when they're 1-0 up, keep the pressure on, not sit back and defend the lead, but keep going. And that's exactly what Fort Lauderdale United are doing. Unlucky they're not to hit target from the wonderful Hamid.
Jasmine Hamid has certainly been a force to be reckoned with. Many a defender would not like to see Jasmine Hamid running at them on the pitch. Here's Felicia Knox. Knox with a weighted ball forward into a streaming Gordon. Gordon will keep it in play. Knocked back to Vaca. Across into the box, headed away. Carolina Ascent under some high pressure. Audrey Harding draws the foul. It's Vaca that is blown for the foul on Audrey Harding.
Yeah, it's all incumbent now on Carolina Ascent to find something in attack. Defensively, they've been strong, as you mentioned, second best defense in the league behind Brooklyn. They've had a solid back four. It hasn't really changed much. Josie Studer, Sydney Studer, Vicky Bruce have been there regularly. There's been a couple of variations at left back, but it's been in the same goalkeeper, Megan McClelland, so they really have got a great understanding there. And they've had Renee Guillon at left back for some of the games and Jill Aguilera at other times, but otherwise it's a pretty consistent defense. So they haven't given much away, but the area they're really struggling, and they have been struggling for a few games now, is creating anything. And Jill Aguilera on the ball there, one of those whose stats suggest that she creates a lot, but we've seen very little in the game today to back that up.
Here's Vicky Bruce. Her pass wayward. Hamid was able to recover. A slotted ball, perfectly timed for Gordon, but McClelland says no way, coming out with the big clearance away. Naveni Vaka with a fancy turn to begin the attack, and caught from behind. The play will continue. Gordon tried to give and go there with Addie McCain. Is cleared away by Aguilera.
This has dropped into that left back position that Guillon held to make way in midfield for one of the substitutes.
McCain to Gordon, and Jordan gets it back. Fighting for possession is Pralle, hot off of her goal. Gaynor. Little back heel from Gordon into Jordan. Jordan trying to round the defense. Slide tackle comes in, well timed by Sydney Studer. Driving forward now is Audrey Harding. Harding, an early cross. Vaka can't quite sort her feet out, but she's able to shovel it to Gaynor. There's Aguilera to Harding. Harding's been a bright spark since coming off of the bench. Audrey Harding lays it off tidily to Gonzalez, who goes for goal. It's deflected away for a corner kick, and this corner kick is presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing.
Well, this is something for the away team to work with now. Set piece, get it into the box, drive it. See if you can get a lucky knockdown or maybe a good header from a big centre-back. Anything to get you back in the game and to get a goal, which, as you mentioned before, 1 goal in the last 3.5 matches, not good enough for Carolina Ascent.
Catherine Gonzalez plants the ball for the corner kick. Gonzalez drives it under the bar, a diving save from Morshey. A venomous corner that forced Morshey into the save.
Wasn't it a good corner again? More and more now we're seeing driven corners. There's been a lot of success in world football in recent weeks with corners driven in, and more coaches seem to be agreeing with that philosophy, and we've seen today some wonderful corners. And the reason why, when they're driven in with this pace, you haven't got time to react, or much time to react as a goalkeeper or as centre-backs, and that's when you can find errors. So well done to Morshey for dealing with that very difficult cross.
Morshey in her 8th appearance for Fort Lauderdale United, split game time with McKenna Gottschalk. But in her performance so far has arguably given the nod to Tyrone Mears that she belongs in this jersey. Let's see if she's tested here. She won't be. The offside flag is raised on the far side against Carolina Ascent.
I'm just wondering what Philip Poole can do here to change things for his team. He's already made 2 changes. Harding there certainly has brought, as you say, some vibrancy, but he's got some youngsters on the bench. The only problem is Maria Tapia is 16, B. Hilton 17, and Stella Spitzer, believe it or not, is 14. So to bring them on to impact the game is very difficult.
Hamid, early cross in. Jill Aguilera looking to shield it. She'll have to spin and send it out for the throw-in. And to your point, Gary, a tough ask for any teenager to come into a game of this importance, particularly with Fort Lauderdale United being quite a strong side in terms of physicality as well.
Absolutely. They've only got Cannon Clough there at 29 years of age. played for Canberra United in Australia. Perhaps she can come on. Otherwise, if you're relying on youngsters, it's a big, as you say, big ask for Philip Poole. So many important injuries. You mentioned them earlier on, players that are missing, that they really are struggling without. And Ashlyn Shrepka being one of those. Jada Bedoya in particular. Those two players are massive losses for Carolina Ascent.
It's a tough blow for Philip Poole's side. He may be encouraged in some ways for that winter break, where hopefully those players will be able to recover during the window. Fans, Fort Lauderdale United FC will be back in action at home on February 22nd versus Lexington SC at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at ftlutd.com. Fort Lauderdale United right now, if they hold this result, will have 3 wins in a row at home. It looks like this is the place you want to be beyond Bankard Field, starting to become a bit of a fortress for the Fort Lauderdale side.
And they've also got a 7-figure sponsorship, I believe, from Beyond Bankard, so it's great to have a sponsor of that quality.
Studer got caught in a little bit of trouble after letting that ball bounce. Aguilera sends it further clear.
Just to finish that point, when you've got that sort of money behind you and that sort of backing, you can really get the right players in and make this a fortress second to none.
Little cushion down pass from McCain. He's looking for Pralle, who's caught from behind. Vicky Bruce and Pralle in a physical challenge. Referee will stand over Vicky Bruce, help her up. And it looks like Vicky Bruce struggling with cramp right now. Goodness, you can see her quad shaking.
Well, the referee having 2 jobs there, to give the yellow card out and to act as a physio.
You see the shoulder charge.
Into the back, isn't it? Shoulder to shoulders allowed, shoulder into the back isn't.
Vicky Bruce does now receive the yellow card for her troubles of the foul on Pralle.
I think that's the first yellow card, isn't it, of the match? It's been a very clean game so far.
I think it's been well refereed as well by Lorenzo Hernandez, with controlling the moments and not making himself a headline. Will be a free kick for Fort Lauderdale United. Will be served in, and a bit of a whiff from Shania Gordon, but she's able to get it towards Hamid, and the offside flag raised. And he did get the ball in the back of the net, as you hear the roar from the crowd, but it would not count. The offside flag was raised.
I think that's Vaka they're showing in picture there, but you've got to keep yourself on side, looking down the line. So important. And we'll let the players off. 75th minute. You're feeling a bit tired, and the brain starts to shut down. So, but generally speaking, as soon as the ball gets knocked out, you've got to get yourself back onto an onside position.
A yellow card has been issued by the referee to Fort Lauderdale United, number 5, Leveni Vaca, in the 75th minute.
Leveni Vaca has received a yellow card for something that the referee spotted. One of the recent phases of play. We did say that Leveni was probably a little fortunate not to have received a yellow card earlier on in the game for clearing the ball away, so perhaps one warning too many for the Tongo international.
Yeah, I did think she kicked the ball away at the end there, so hard to see exactly, but either way she's in the book, which means, same with Vicky Bruce, you've got to be careful with your next tackle. There's no sort of more room for error, so to speak. Another mistake, another yellow card, and of course you're off the pitch.
McClelland. Beautiful chest down by Studer. Her ball can only find Vaca. possession from Fort Lauderdale United FC that almost feel like are playing a game of keep away right now. This time, though, the ball will go out of play. Zanele Kamane to come in to the match now. She will replace Felicia Knox, and this substitution is brought to you by Omega XL Sports.
That makes sense. You want some fresh legs now just to close out the game, last 13, 14 minutes. And Knox showing a little bit of weariness, so you bring on fresh legs, get out there, close the game down, make sure Carolina can't get back in the match, and probably find that Tyrone Mears will make a couple more changes in the next sort of 5 or 10 minutes just to bring on more fresh legs.
Kamani, a native of South Africa, coming on to the field of action to solidify Fort Lauderdale United, her 7th appearance of the season. Long ball forwards. Looking for Mia Corbin. Haven't heard much of her name, but she's able to find Harding. Harding into the brick wall defending of the sub, Kamani. And Aguilera will receive. It's deflected off of the dangling leg of Gordon and out for a Carolina Ascent throw. Time is of the essence now for Carolina Ascent. Not quite the 30 minutes that they had since conceding, as Corbin hangs it up at the back post. Baisden can't keep it in. She does keep it in. Tightrope in the touchline. Baisden and Studer will connect as it's headed away by Kamani. Only as far as Gonzalez. Baisden over the crossbar.
That's poor quality coming from a player of Riley Baisden's ability there. Got to get that ball whipped in, got to find someone on the end of it from your side, and she's capable of so much better. She really has struggled to make an impact in this particular game, and she's not the only one, to be fair, other than Mia Corbin. I don't think we've seen much of Catherine Gonzalez and Jill Aguilera. All these attacking type players really just have struggled to get going here today, as they have in previous games, and hence the bad run for Phillip Poole.
The concern right now for Carolina Ascent is a small blip in the season is becoming something a little bit more detrimental, as drawing the foul was Kamani. She tried to take it quickly. Lorenzo Hernandez not satisfied with where the ball was placed for the set piece. So we get a look at Jill Aguilera. It's a tough position to be in when you're a forward-minded player, to be pinned back into the fullback position where you're having to defend quite a bit this evening.
Yeah, she has played that fullback position before, and she does get forward well. In this match, she started higher up, but she's been pushed back to fullback now. But you're right, she needs to get forward more when she can.
McCain going for goal. Almost dipped last minute. McClelland watched it all the way over the bar.
And you also mentioned Mia Corbin. She hasn't had much to do because she hasn't got service either. So it's I think, a fair amount is obviously credit to Fort Lauderdale for keeping the ball, for pressing as they're doing now. Ooh, risky. But at the same time, Carolina have just not been able to create their own momentum going forward. And it's a big challenge for Phillip Poole as he lines up 2 more sets of fresh legs to come onto the pitch.
Carolina Ascent yet again called for a foul. Mia Corbin appeared to have done something to the displeasure of Lorenzo Hernandez's whistle. Subs will get an opportunity to come in. It's 16-year-old Maria Tapia coming in to the game alongside B. Hilton. This substitution is brought to you by Omega XL Sports.
A substitution for Carolina Ascent. In the game now, number 22, Chloe Heighton. Replacing number 4, Victoria Bruce.
It's Vicky Bruce coming out of the game, so Bruce, who was suffering a little bit from a cramp, Gary, getting some respite now.
Yes, and she's on a yellow card as well, so probably a sensible decision all round there by Coach Phillip Poole.
See how the young guns coming onto the field are able to have an impact for Carolina. Ascent, almost a giveaway in front of the run of Corbin. The ball is distributed wide to Hamid. Hamid cutting it back, cutting it through another player, laying it off to McCain. McCain will reset through McNeil. McNeil splits the defenders, and McCain can't get round the challenge of Josie Studer. There's been a lot of running, as you're seeing right now, for Mia Corbin. She's got to be exhausted from those hit and hope balls and chasing now.
Yeah, just not getting any support from her wide players, and it really has been a one-player show from Mia Corbin up front. She's been decent, she really has, but no one around her has helped her out.
Hamid playing the ball forward, a driven cross to Pralle! And Chiara Pralle has a brace. A perfectly timed run and a dagger of a touch past McClelland has Fort Lauderdale United with the 2-0 lead.
Wow, Chiara Pralle in just your second game, 2 goals, and yeah, Megan McClelland, that's tough. Your clean sheet's gone already, and now it's 4 games almost certainly without a win. It'd be very difficult to come back from this, but good play down that left-hand side, bombing forward, cutting in here with the ball, and there's still a lot of work for her to do from that near post position. But she just finishes it off so well, Pralle. She's got the right sense of where the angles are, puts her foot out, flicks it past Megan McClelland. And if Fort Lauderdale weren't good going forward before Pralle joined the team, wow, look at what they have, along with McCain and Hamid and Gordon. Those front 4 are going to scare a lot of defenses in the second half of this season.
And this Fort Lauderdale United FC goal scored by Chiara Pralle in the 82nd minute is brought to you by Baptist Health. And Chiara Pralle won't have an opportunity for the hat-trick because she has been subbed out of the game now. She'll be replaced by Cheyenne Allen.
Well, I'll be a little bit upset if they pulled me off after scoring my second. I want to spend a few more minutes basking in the glory, but I guess at the same time she's done her job, so maybe rest the legs.
I think she'll be even more frustrated because she's going to have to rest her legs until February now.
True.
But Pralle getting a hero's welcome. And as you mentioned, just her second appearance since signing her pro deal out of Lipscomb University. Audrey Harding. Some great individual skills. She's been a bright spark since coming off the bench. Hilton. Wide now to Corbin. Corbin's cross to the edge of the box is too easy to clear away by Fort Lauderdale United. McCain will send it forward. Be chased down as McClelland clears it away. Gianna Gawley coming in to the game, replacing the brace scorer as well. Referee does call a foul. It's Anele Kamani that's deemed to have been a little overzealous in the challenge. Carolina Ascent need something very special if they're going to be able to change their destiny and not fall for 3 straight losses to end the full schedule in USL Super League. Aguilera squares the ball, the strike with a quick recoil. Came in from Taylor Porter. And it's Tapia on the far side, unable to earn a corner.
Well, unless there's a really unbelievable comeback from Carolina Ascent, they're going to end this first part of the season in 3rd position, but just a point ahead of Fort Lauderdale United, who will have a game in hand on them when the second part of the season kicks off. So from leading the league comfortably at one stage and for almost every week until the last week or two, they now are likely to end up 8 points behind Brooklyn FC and just barely in the top 4. So what a rough turnaround for Carolina Ascent after such a brilliant start.
And perhaps it's a testament to the parity in USL Super League, how quick the tides can turn for teams, as we get a look at Philip Poole, who is going to have a long off-season pondering on how he can get his Carolina Ascent side back to the incredible form that they saw where they were top of the table for 91 days. Aguilera will boot this one long. Harding tries to challenge. Headed down. Back to Harding. Harding, a little bit of space. Looked for the reverse pass forward to Hilton. Couldn't find it. Gordon. A pass wayward. McClelland will come all the way out of her box to try and find some movement ahead.
You're just mentioning Philip Poole having to go into the break on the back of 3 losses. It's exactly the opposite for Tyrone Mears as he goes into the break on the back of 3 wins, and very impressive wins as well. So I guess he'll be enjoying his Christmas lunch a lot more than Philip Poole will. Even though they're close on points, it's just the trajectory of Fort Lauderdale seems to be on the up and up with the strike force they have, and Carolina Ascent's lack of goals suggests that they might have a tougher second half of the season.
You have to think the fact, as you mentioned, that they failed to score today. They failed to score against Dallas. Those are 2 very big red flags that you're not finding opportunities in front of goal. Vaca on a streaming run forward. She'll lay it across for a searching run of Gawley. Referee's whistle blows. Gawley just didn't manage to bend her run enough. Just feels like Carolina Ascent's players, body language-wise, Gary, have almost found themselves a little defeated. So in fact, it wasn't an offside, it was a free kick call in favor of Fort Lauderdale United. And when you're down, it feels like you're getting kicked at moments like this.
Well, all their stats have been less than the opposition, all the important stats the last 3 matches. And this game, again, their stats, which I'll mention in a moment, just very, very low.
It's a driven ball from Jordan, all the way out of play for a McClelland goal kick.
So to give you some of those stats, 10 shots in the box for Fort Lauderdale, just 3 for Carolina Ascent. 6 shots on target for the home side, 1 for Carolina Ascent. And touches in the opposition box, 24 for Fort Lauderdale, just 6 for Carolina Ascent. All those sort of stats, including the expected goals, which is 1.51 for the home side and just 0.38 for Carolina Ascent. That basically tells any coach that the team have not played well. They're not getting things going in an attacking sense at all, and that really is going to be a massive concern for Philip Poole and his coaching staff.
Audrey Harding trying to get a silver lining for her Carolina Ascent side, and she's blown for a foul. As Lorenzo Hernandez stomping down on some physicality. A double substitution coming in for Fort Lauderdale. It'll be Cameron Brooks joined with Tati Fung entering the field. Jordan and McCain will exit the pitch, and these substitutions are brought to you by Omega XL Sport. Just a bit of a cameo for both these 2 players. Won't have too long to feature, but game time is game time. See 3 additional minutes for these players to have an impact.
I just wonder if we'll get a repeat of the previous match, but in the opposite direction. It was a 2-0 lead for Carolina Ascent and a 90th minute goal by Hamid to make it 2-1. Well, could it be a late goal from Carolina Ascent to at least get something out of this match and make it a little bit more respectable?
And it would just be a silver lining to feel as though you'd managed to create an opportunity, because Morshey really hasn't been tested by a couple of interceptions from corner kicks. Baisden wanted to take the throw. The referee rules it instead as a Fort Lauderdale United throw. So long ball forwards is headed clear by Carolina Ascent. Harding yet again involved as Tricoli plays it forward, and a push in the back. A free kick will be called. Kamani with the foul. Audrey Harding with some good work earning the free kick. This could be that opportunity that you mentioned, Gary, from the set piece for Carolina Ascent to just get a slither of positivity out of this second half of heartbreak. Jill Aguilera stands over the free kick. Kamani was actually shown a yellow card on that last phase of play. Aguilera floats it down. It's headed by Harding. A challenge on the goalkeeper. The ball is loose. Harding outside the box has a swarm of defenders around her. Gets it to Studer. And Studer just gets too far underneath it.
Well, a little moment of excitement there for Carolina Ascent fans, and as the goalkeeper was unable to gather, you just wondered if it was going to drop to someone to toe poke over the line, but good defending again by Fort Lauderdale, and they'll be excited to keep a clean sheet. They haven't had that in their last 3 games, even though they won 2 of those, but a clean sheet I think will be most appreciated by that Fort Lauderdale defense.
Jill Aguilera trying to get the ball back into play as all eyes on the referee, Lorenzo Hernandez. And the final whistle blows. It is Fort Lauderdale United that finish on a high with 3 straight victories in their home venue beyond Bankard Field. A new star is born in the USL Super League, and her name is Chiara Pralle. A brace from Pralle sees Fort Lauderdale United defeat Carolina Ascent 2-0. Gary Bailey, Fort Lauderdale United right now going into the winter break looking very good.
Oh, absolutely wonderful, and congrats to Chiara Pralle, but she'll obviously, I think, to say a big thank you also to the likes of Shania Gordon, who I thought was wonderful down that right-hand side. McCain just taking a bit of a back seat, but still pulling some of the strings there, and some of the skills down the left-hand side as well were just absolutely awesome. So what a good team they are. Jasmine Hamid providing that threat down the left-hand side. What a good team they are in attack. But for Carolina Ascent, Philippool and company, lots of hard work to do in the next 6 or 7 weeks before the league picks up again.
And with her brace, tonight's performer of the game is, of course, Chiara Pralle, and it's brought to you by Baptist Health. Well, it has been quite the journey here in Fort Lauderdale. Your final score, it's Fort Lauderdale United 2, Carolina Ascent 0.
The Fort Lauderdale United Women's Professional Team invites you to our holiday winter soccer camp. This 2-week experience runs December 23rd, 26th, and 27th, and December 30th, January 2nd, and 3rd. Train like the pros, train on our stadium and something your skills, and make lasting holiday memories on the pitch. Visit our website to sign up today. Congratulations to tonight's Fort Lauderdale United Trivia Quest winner, Ignacio Posado. Thanks to everyone who participated. participating. Stay tuned for more exciting video games and future matches.
The full finale finishes with Fort Lauderdale United picking up yet another 3 points, a 2-0 victory over Carolina Ascent, courtesy of a brace from Chiara Pralle. Jessica Charm and Gary Bailey, we are now joined from the player of the moment, Chiara Pralle. Chiara, life as a professional soccer player has hit you fast. How are you feeling with your adjustment to life as a pro?
I mean, it's insane. Like, literally 2 weeks ago, I was ready to go to grad school. Like, I never thought I'd be in this position. So I'm just really grateful for the people around me who've supported me, and just the Lord for opening up these doors for me to be here and, like, be on this team. Like, it truly is such a gift.
Chiara, you took your goals extremely well. Congratulations. But how exciting is it to play alongside McCain, Gordon, and Hamid, players of that quality?
I mean, it's incredible. It's just like the quality of players around me. It's just, yeah, it's just amazing. And I'm just thankful for the way that they, not only like their ability that they have, but the way that they just like fight and compete every single minute of the game.
And just another question, in terms of playing up front, how do you get involved in the defensive aspect of the game? You're scoring goals, but the first clean sheet in 8 games, what is your role defensively?
I mean, I was an outside back, and it wasn't until the past couple years that I transitioned to play up top. Credit to Kevin O'Brien, my coach in college. So it's just my mindset. That's been my mindset my whole life, is being active on defense. So it's just something I carry into my game when I play up top.
Well, Chiara, congratulations. Go enjoy the moment. Welcome to USL Super League.
Thank you so much.
It's time to take a look at the full-time highlights, and tonight's full-time highlights are presented by Blue Water Books and Charts. It's Fort Lauderdale United under some high pressure here, leading to an opportunity that created our save of the game today, and it's brought to you by Omega XL Sports.
Yeah, good defensive blockage on the one side, and then just the reverse. They're on the transition there. Shania Gordon, who I thought was absolutely fabulous in this match, bombing down the right-hand side. And then this Vicky Bruce, how do you head that off the line? And then, of course, the star of the moment pops up in Chiara Pralle and tucks that into the goal. But there's the block, important block. I think it came from Leveni Vaka. And that provides the opportunity for the counter-attack and the lovely finish from our star of the game, Chiara Pralle.
And the performer of the game, as we mentioned, is brought to you by Baptist Health. Chiara Pralle, a name that will be written down in folklore right now. And I have a feeling that we have so much more to see from Chiara Pralle. We had so much more to see even in the 83rd minute.
Good build down the left-hand side. Fort Lauderdale not sitting on that 1-goal lead. Sabrina McNeil getting down there, whipping that ball into the near post. But from a tight angle, it's still a very good finish from Chiara Pralle, who just gives it the perfect sort of flick to get it past Megan McClelland for the second goal.
It's 9 points in 3 home games for Fort Lauderdale in a row, and you see what it means to this side, who are storming into the winter break in fantastic form. We're going to have a look at our full-time stats, which are presented by Beyond Bankcard. Yet again, Fort Lauderdale United's attack far more promising in that second 45 minutes of action.
Yeah, very good. Look at that, shots on target, 6-1. Really not good enough for Carolina Ascent, given how good they have been in the early part of the season. A lot of thinking for Philip Poole and company to do. The rest of their stats weren't very good either. Expected goals, 1.5 for the home side, just 0.41 for Carolina. So back to the drawing board for the next 6 weeks for the visitors. Well done, Fort Lauderdale. They are on the march.
Well, as the full finale comes to the end, let's take a look at the USL standings brought to you by Delta Airlines. It's Brooklyn FC sitting pretty on top. Carolina Ascent, with that defeat, missed out on the opportunity of not only climbing back to second, but Fort Lauderdale United right now just a point behind, Gary, knocking on their door.
With a game in hand, with that game in hand, they potentially could go above Dallas Trinity. So, as we say, they are on the march. Tampa Bay Sun not too far behind. Lexington with their first home win, just going above Spokane. Last time we spoke, Spokane were winning. I assume they lost because they would have been higher up the table, and DC Power just 1 point ahead of Lexington and Spokane.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all of the action from Beyond Bankcard Field today for the full finale. It's been an incredible start to the inaugural USL Super League season, and now we take the winter break. It's Fort Lauderdale United, at courtesy of Pralle, that is the hero in a 2-0 victory over Carolina Ascent. For Jessica Charm and Gary Bailey, our entire crew, the final score is Fort Lauderdale United 2, Carolina Ascent 0. Thank you for enjoying USL Super League on Peacock.